because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me, they're after you. I just happen to be standing in their way, and I always will, right? I always will, fellas. So we have some exciting news today because we're pleased to be joined by many outstanding Michigan patriots. They are, I know every one of them, including your next U.S. Senator from Michigan, Mike Rogers. And Mike is just as adamant as me. He'll vote to stop the invasion, end inflation, halt the outsourcing of Michigan jobs, and bring back the auto industry. You are going to double or triple your auto industry within the next 3 years under Trump. Mark it down. Mark it down. Because we're not taking their cars. We want them to build the cars here, using you people to build them. Also with us is another good man who is running for Michigan Senate seat, Sandy Petzler. Do you know Sandy? So I have a big announcement to make then. Sandy has just announced that he would like to do something very important tonight. So you have Mike, who's a total pro, Sandy, who's a total pro. I'd like to ask both of them to come on up, and I'd like to have Sandy make a statement first. Thank you. Come on up, fellas.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was so inspired when President Trump kissed the empty uniform of Corey Competore. I flashed back immediately to a couple days after 9/11 at the local firehouse where I hugged the lone remaining survivor and looked out at 12 empty uniforms. Thank you for honoring all of them as well. My campaign was always about making America better. The best way to do that is to enact President Trump's policies. Let's go, Trump! Let's go, Trump! To do that, we need control of the Senate. A divisive, continued primary effort hurts the chances of that, and that's not okay. So tonight, I'm doing the right thing and ceasing my Senate candidacy. No, it's not an aha. It's the right thing. President Trump endorsed Mike Rogers. Tonight, so am I. Mike's gonna make a heck of a senator. So I want you guys to look around the room tonight, because everything goes through Michigan. The presidency, the Senate, the House, and the State House. Look around, make a pledge to each other. We're gonna fight like hell to save America and elect Donald Trump, Mike Rogers, and the rest of the ticket on the Republican Party. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. I am honored to have you stand with us and all Republicans to win the state of Michigan. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your leadership. You're going to be an important voice going forward in our party in Michigan. And Mr. President, I want to say this, as a former law enforcement guy, it wasn't that the bullet took you to the ground. It was the fact that you got back up for America. Yes, you bet. I have spent my career working to protect America as an Army officer, as an FBI agent working organized crime in Chicago, as the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. I have never seen a more unsafe America because of the Democrats over the last 4 years. Here's the good news, Mr. President. You will have a partner in the United States Senate that will bring manufacturing back to Michigan. We are the arsenal of democracy. We will be again in this great state. And I'll pledge to you, I will get Department of Justice reoriented to actually going after criminals. We are going to dismantle fentanyl distribution from here to the steppes of China, and we're going to tell China, you sell in the United States, you'll have a price to pay. Mr. President, I'll guarantee you this as well. With your leadership, winning the state of Michigan, winning for the United States, putting America back in Washington, D.C. versus Washington, D.C. and the rest of America, we will make America respected again. We will bring back law and order again. We will make America safe again. Let's flip the Senate. Let's elect Donald J. Trump and Mike Rogers to the Senate, and let's get busy. Thanks, Mr. President.
We're unifying the party, and that was beautiful to watch. Thank you, Sandy and Mike. And Mike, good luck. You're running against somebody that's such a bad senator. You don't even, I was there for 4 years plus. I don't even remember meeting that particular person. This is not a senator for Michigan. Mike Rogers is going to be a great senator. He's got gravitas. He really knows his way, highly respected in Washington. And I think, I mean, it should be an easy race. Nothing's easy, but it should be an easy race. So good luck, good luck. And thank you very much, Sandy, Mike. We're also joined by members of Congress and they're great people, friends of mine, warriors. Jack Bergman. Jack? Thank you, Jack. Great job. A real friend of mine, somebody I was very much in favor of right at the beginning, John James. Thank you, John. A warrior, somebody who helped me do a lot of different things. He gets things done. Bill Heisinger. Bill, thank you, Bill. Thank you very much. And another one. These are all great people. Tim Wahlberg, thank you for everything you've done, Tim. You've been unbelievable. Always there for me, right? Always there. And a man from a slightly different location, a little bit down. You're not going to get there with an electric car, but unless you want to stop a few times. But comes from a state known as Florida, a great place, and he's so respected. He's such an incredible man. Brian Mast. Brian. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Brian. Thank you, Brian. What a guy he is. He's a warrior. He's a real warrior. Thank you, Brian. Michigan House Republican leader, Matt Hall. Thank you, Matt. Good job you're doing, Matt. Are we going to win, Matt? Will you please make sure? We need these local ones, right? That's right. Michigan Senate Republican leader, Eric Nesbitt. Thank you, Eric. Great. Thank you. Good job. A congressional candidate who I hear is doing very well, Tom Barrett. Tom, get in there and win. Good. A friend of mine who was really brave, ran a tough race. It's amazing, actually. Really did well. Her father was a very special guy. He was in the steel industry, and he passed away. A battle with cancer, a long time battle, but he was fantastic. And I got to know them both very well. She's a terrific woman. Tudor Dixon. Thank you, Tudor. Ambassador Joe Sella. Thank you, Joe. Good job you're doing, Joe. Very important person in this room, Michigan GOP Chairman. Where are you? Okay. Pete Hoekstra. Oh, there he is. I fought like hell for him to take that job, right, Pete? I said, Pete, you got to do it. No, how are we doing, Pete? How are we doing? Huh? We're doing good. If you're in charge, he's going to win. He was a congressman, a really good one, respected. He left. I made him ambassador. He was a great ambassador. And I then said, Pete, you got to do it. He lives here. I said, you got to do it. And we appreciate you doing it. Both of you, thank you very much. We appreciate it very much. RNC chairman, he put on that show with a person named Lara Trump. How good is she? How good is she? She's unbelievable. She made a great speech. And her husband made a very good speech the other night, didn't he? Eric and Don. I don't want to talk about anyone else, only my kids, you know? But they all did well. Everybody did well, honestly. I do think Hulk Hogan, I thought he was incredible. I hadn't seen him in a while. And I'll tell you what, I'm not going to mess with him, right? We're not going to mess with the Hulkster. But he was fantastic the other night. All of them, every single one. My granddaughter did very well. Look, she's scarred. What about, who said that? Who said my granddaughter? Wow. Kai. Kai is great. Great golfer. She's a great golfer. But we have another man who's very important, and the RNC chairman, Michael Watley, who's been incredible, wherever Michael is. Mike, thank you, Mike. Great job. I said, Michael, you have one job. We got so many votes, we don't know what to do with them. You got to guard the vote. When those votes get put in, they can't be missing. They can't throw them out. They can't stuff ballot boxes. They can't cheat. Make sure. And, you know, he headed up North Carolina. And on that night, a while ago, that certain election night, that miserable where we thought it was won at 10 o'clock in the evening, and then all of a sudden, additional votes have been reported in various places. We don't have to get into it. North Carolina held totally steady. He had 603 lawyers working. Other people didn't have lawyers working. And bad things happened, but this guy held, and I said, that's the guy I want to run the party. And Michael, I know you're doing a great job, and you're going to do something very special. We don't need votes. We need to guard the vote. You ever hear the expression, too big to rig? The more we get in there, the harder it is for them. My daughter and her husband, Tiffany and Michael, where are you? Tiffany and Michael, you're around here someplace. Two great people. Fairly recently, thank you, Tiff. Great people. And Michael's father's here tonight, highly respected guy, great businessman, and a highly respected guy. From the moment we take back the White House from crooked Joe Biden and Kamala, I call her Laughing Kamala. You ever watch her laugh? She's crazy. You know, you can tell a lot by a laugh. No, she's crazy. She's nuts. She's not as crazy as Nancy Pelosi. Crazy Nancy. Did you see Nancy Pelosi is selling out Biden now? Did you see? She turned on him like a dog. Well, I don't know if he should continue. All of a sudden, where did that come from? She was 100%. All of a sudden, she's not sure. Not sure means he's gone. But no, she's crazy as a bed bug. She's a crazy girl. I believe we're going to have the 4 greatest years of the history of our country. I believe that. And I believe that Michigan is going to have the greatest of all of any of the states because I'm going to bring back your auto industry. I'm not going to take this. You know, in Mexico, they're building among the largest plants for auto manufacturing anywhere in the world. In Mexico, near the border, they think that they're going to make cars and sell them into the United States and lose all our jobs. It's not happening. And you know who owns those plants? China. China owns them. And we're not letting it happen. We'll put 200% tariffs on, 400, I don't care what would. Whoever is building your plants, we're not allowing any of those cars to come into the United States, okay? We're telling that to Mexico right now. You want to build those plants? A friend of mine who builds plants, that's all he can do. He's a great guy, but his strength is plants. If you say walk across the street, he's not that good at it. But to build a plant, he has no problem. He builds great auto plants. So I said, I'd like to see one. Take me. He goes, well, I'll have to go to Mexico. I said, what about the United States? No, not so much. He goes, they're actually some of the biggest in the world being built right now in Mexico. I said, this happened over the last couple of years with this stupid president that we have. Stupid. He's a stupid person. And I can say it because, you know, once he weaponized justice, you know, I would never talk about a president like that. Once he weaponized justice against me, I said, oh, wow, that's really incredible. That's never been done before. I can do it. And I'm knocking him out. But sometimes you have crooked judges. We have some real crooked judges, too. That's the only way. The only way I can lose is crooked judges, but we'll get it overturned, anything that happens. But once he weaponized, I wouldn't talk that way. In fact, before this happened, before he did this, I treated him not nicely, but I treated him with far more respect than I do right now. It's one of those things. But we can't let these companies come in and steal our wealth, steal our jobs, destroy our companies, and end up building it 10 miles across the border and think we're going to allow them to get away with it. We're not. They have to build it over here, and they have to use our people. So it's going to happen. And Michigan will benefit more than any state in the union because they stole your auto industry, and we're going to bring it back, and it's going to be at a level that it was in its height. Okay? You hear that, John James? You hear that? We're going to put John James in charge. And the amazing thing, it's not even hard to do. It's not even hard. It's so crazy. You know, if you want to build something in China, you're building it here and you send it over there. We don't want it. They'll charge you like 250% tariff. We don't want it. Then you get an invite. Build your plant over here. So these companies, they go over there. Harley Davidson did it in India. They couldn't sell. They had a 200% tariff on motorbikes. I had them in the office in the White House, the Oval Office, and the head of Harley Davidson. I was disappointed in that, actually. That we were talking about it. I was telling them the problems and I was going to help them out. But I said, how are you doing in India? No good. Why? We have a 200% tariff. In other words, if we sell a bike, they have like this massive tariff. And I said, well, if you have a 200% tariff, that means you're not going to be able to sell any. But they invited them over to build a plant, and Harley Davidson went, and I guess they're building the plant or built it or something. But that's what they do. I don't blame India. I blame us for allowing it to happen. It's not going to happen anymore. I had it stopped. And then we had the COVID fight. We had to fight COVID. We did a great job. We never got the credit. We got credit for military. We got credit for everything. I defeated ISIS. We did unbelievable things. Unbelievable. We got the biggest tax cut in history, the biggest regulation cuts in history. You know, when I go to the companies, the big companies, highly sophisticated, I said, so I got you the biggest tax cuts in history, and that was good for jobs. And I got you the biggest regulation cuts in history, and that was good for jobs. If you could only have one, would you take the regulation cuts or the tax cuts? Every single person, and I must have asked the question 200 times over the years, said the regulation cuts were more important than the tax cuts. Can you believe it? You wouldn't think that. But we got you the biggest regulation cuts in history, before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after we win the presidency, we win, we're gonna all win it together. I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled, and I will be the only one that can make this statement. I will prevent World War III from happening. You're very close to World War III. If I was president, the Afghanistan disaster, which probably caused Putin to go in, by the way, he wouldn't have gone in with me. He would have never gone in with me. And he didn't. And by the way, he didn't. But the Afghanistan disaster, not the fact we're getting out. I was getting out. After 21 years, you get the hell out. But I would have kept Bagram. It's 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. We gave it to them so stupidly. It's one of the biggest airfields in the world. We built it many years ago for billions of dollars. We were going to keep that. We were going to man it, keep it. Think of it, 1 hour away. You know who has it now? China has it now. How stupid are we? Should have kept that. And you know the lift? The lift should have been done at Bagram, not their little local airport where they had riots all over the place and then the bombs started going, killing 13 of our great people. Obliterating, I heard the number this morning, 47. That's maybe the right number because we're looking at 47, you know that, right? Obliterated 47 great young Americans, their legs gone, their arms gone, their face just wiped out. And hundreds of people besides, hundreds of people. The worst catastrophe, the worst, most embarrassing disaster, I think, ever that happened ever in this country. And because of that, I think Putin looked at that, the incompetence, the stupidness of Milley and these guys that don't know what the hell they're doing. And he looked at it and he said, this is a great time to go into Ukraine. But he would have never done it with me. If I was president, the Afghan disaster would have never happened. Ukraine would have never happened. And October 7th, the attack on Israel would have never happened. Remember, Iran was broke. Iran had no money. They were broke. Now they have $250 billion. But we'll get along with Iran. We'll get along with whoever we have to get along with, but it would have never happened. All of the things, and you know what wouldn't have happened? Inflation wouldn't have happened because I had energy low. Inflation was caused by energy going up twice. I will restore a thing called peace through strength. That's what we have.
We're listening here to former President Donald Trump. He's speaking at a rally. It's been 1 week since his assassination attempt. We do have to step away for one more commercial break this hour. Stick with us. We're back out in Grand Rapids, Michigan, next.
going to raise Social Security. He's stupid, that's why. He's going to raise it. Don't believe it. They have this line where it goes one after the other. But one thing, it's very simple. They're going to raise your taxes 4 times, and that's there because they don't want to renew the tax cuts that I gave. It's approximately a 4 times increase, and they don't want to renew them. But you can't believe these people when they get up. Biden and I watched Camilla the other day, brilliantly put on Fox. I don't know why Fox does it. Please, Fox, will you please get smart? Will you please get smart? And she's ranting, right? He is going to destroy Social Security. He's going to destroy Medicare. He's going to destroy this. I mean, just made up. It's just sound bites. It's disinformation. That's the other thing they're good at. They say anything they want to say. I am going to protect your Social Security. We're not going to be raising the number of years. We're not going to raise it by 1 day, let alone 1 year or 5 years or 10 years like some stupid people want to do. We're going to grow our country. It's going to be growth. And it's going to be using the assets and resources that we have, much of it right under the ground. We're going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope, safety, and beauty better than they have ever been before. We're going to have to work with the Democrat governors and mayors on that. But our cities are just horribly run. And then we have our capital, our beautiful capital in Washington, D.C. We're going to take it over. We're going to clean it up. We're going to renovate it. We're going to rebuild it. We're going to make our capital the most beautiful anywhere in the world. We're going to get rid of the nightmare of murder and crime. And it will become the most beautiful capital anywhere in the world once again, but far more beautiful than it was before. And when you want to go from Michigan to see the Washington Monument, yes, we're keeping the name Washington. We're not changing the name. Or the Jefferson Memorial, where there's a big move to change the name. We're not changing the name. Remember when they were knocking down statues and I was president, and I found an old bill, and I reenacted the old bill. Anybody touching, knocking down, or even trying to harm any of our great statues or monuments goes to jail for a 10-year period with no commutation and no shortening of the sentence. And it was a beautiful sight as we watched everybody leave town. They left town so quickly. They left town. We said, bye, everybody. No, we have to meet people that have evil intentions. They wanted to knock down the Jefferson. If I didn't get the military out to save the Jefferson Memorial, they would have done a job. But I found this old law that today we're almost incapable of producing things like that. 10 years, and there's nothing like good behavior, and you get out in 2 days. It's 10 years in jail if you touch our monuments, if you even try to knock them down. I had a news conference, I signed it, and everybody left town. It was a beautiful thing to do. We're not doing it. We won't be changing the name of Jefferson, Washington, Lincoln, like they did our forts. I get out of office, they did our forts, right? We won 2 world wars in those forts, and now they have different names, many of them. Fort Bragg, and the people that live next to Fort Bragg are not happy. They're not happy. They changed the name. We won 2 world wars out of Fort Bragg, and then they decide to change the name because they think it's politically correct. On day 1, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and any other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the shoulders of our children. And I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. And I will keep men immediately, day 1, out of women's sports. And I will fully uphold our very important but under siege Second Amendment, as I did for 4 years. And I got the full endorsement from the NRA. You saw that. They gave us their full, strongest endorsement. No, for 4 years I protected, and it was not that easy to do. We will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech, and I will secure our elections. Our goal will be 1 day voting with paper ballots, proof of citizenship, and voter ID. It's very simple. But until then, Republicans must win. We have to win, 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 win. We want a landslide that is too big to rig. I said it before. I'll say it 100, 200, 300 times before that very spectacular date. But, remember, November 5th is not really the date. It starts in early September, North Carolina and some others. Because now we have these ridiculous laws where you can vote before the election, after the election. We got to have one-day voting. What happened to those ballots that were over there last week? Oh, sir, we moved them around a little bit. Oh, really? I mean, think of it. You vote 2 months early. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. Where are all the ballots that happened? Why are they using a shovel? They're shoveling off. You ever see what goes on? Take a look at what happened in Georgia. They're shoveling ballots into wheelbarrows, moving them around. If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country as Joe Biden and his horrible Biden administration have done. They're destroying our country. They are destroying our country. And, we get up and we have levity, we have laughter, but honest, there's really nothing funny about it. They got millions and millions of people, many of whom are criminals and terrorists, flowing through, and people from mental institutions flowing through into our country totally unchecked. And they move many of them into hotels. Some of them are luxury hotels. Hotel owners are making a fortune. They're destroying their hotel in a certain way, but they're making a fortune. And our military is living on the street with nothing. And yet they're putting these people into luxury hotels. So if you want to save America, get your friends, get your family, get everyone you know, and vote. You got to vote early, vote absentee. I don't care how you vote. They all say, oh, sir, we have to vote early. Well, a lot of times you vote early. That's God. You got to vote, and you got to follow your vote. Make sure it doesn't get canceled out. You can do it. Vote on election day. I don't care how you vote. You've got to vote. Vote early if you want. Everyone say vote early. I don't. But look, you got to vote. You got to get out and vote. You got to protect your vote. That's what Michael's doing. He did it better than anybody else in the country in Carolina. That stayed right here. When Georgia went down, when Pennsylvania went down, it stayed right there. All of a sudden, in certain states, they found all these votes. A totally rigged election. We're never going to let it happen again, because this time if it happens, we're not going to have a country. We won't have even a semblance of a country left. And if you want to help us ensure election integrity, sign up. It's called protectthevote.com. Protectthevote.com. Sign up. And that's on election integrity. You got to watch and watch very carefully. So in conclusion, from Marquette to Midland, from Lansing to Flint, and from Detroit to right here in Grand Rapids. We've had great victories in Grand Rapids. Remember when we won the state of Michigan? Now, we did much better the second time, but I won't mention that. But remember, and I was at Grand Rapids, and we came in, and we had a crowd like nobody ever saw late in the evening. Remember that? You were there? And we had a crowd like nobody's ever seen before. I said, why would we lose Michigan? And we ended up winning Michigan. That was right. Actually, Bill Clinton told Hillary that he was in Michigan. You're going to lose. He's a good politician. You had a natural instinct. He said, you're going to lose Michigan. You're going to lose Wisconsin. They said, oh, why are we listening to this man tell us this? And he was right. Wisconsin and Michigan. I said, why are we going to lose? We had 49,000 people show up. She had like 300 people show up. I said, why are we going to lose? And we won. We won Michigan. And then we did much better the second time, but bad things happened. We're not going to let that happen anymore. We stand on the shoulders of the brave Michigan patriots and tough Michigan workers who manned the first assembly lines. You remember that? Does anybody remember that? It was a long time ago. Anybody remembers that? They're extremely old. Is there anybody that wants to admit? They revolutionized industries and turned the state into a manufacturing powerhouse like no other. And we're going to bring it back. And we're going to bring it back. I'm not talking about lots of other industries. I'm talking about the auto industry, because it's such a big industry. I can say we're going to bring back cement. We're going to bring back all sorts. I'm just talking very simple. It's so simple. It's going to happen so fast. You're going to be at a level as though you were from 30, 40 years ago. You're going to manufacture cars again at a level that you haven't seen in many, many decades. You probably have to get rid of this fool, this stupid idiot representing the United Auto Workers, because he sells the auto. You know, I'm much more popular than anybody with the auto workers. We're going to get 95% of their vote. But they have a guy that, I mean, he pushes the electric mandate, and they're going to be made in China. They got to get rid of that guy. He's bad news. Your Michigan ancestors gave us Motown, the Mustang, and the might of the American Midwest. And it really is a might. They forged the steel, laid the railroads, tilled the fields, fought the battles, and won the victories that made America into the greatest and most powerful nation in the history of the world. That's true. It was the most powerful. But now we are a nation in decline, and it's a very serious decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation run by fools and stupid people. We're a nation that has lost its confidence, its willpower, and its strength. We're a nation that has lost its way, but we are not going to allow this horror to continue. We're not going to let it happen. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. With the right leadership, every disaster crooked Joe Biden has created can be fixed, and very, very quickly. Every problem can be solved, and every wrong can be rectified. By this time next year, America's borders will be strong, sealed, and secure. Very easily. Get ready, Tom Homan. Inflation will be in full retreat. Our economy will be roaring back. Optimism will be surging. You will have your confidence back. We don't have any confidence. That's like an athlete that can't sink the shot, can't hit the ball, lost his calm. We're going to have you hitting the ball again. We're going to have you playing at the top of your game. The American dream will be thriving again for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. Law and justice will reign all throughout our land. Freedom will be restored. The flame of liberty will be burning bright. Crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country, will be a fading memory of the past. And our great silent majority, including the once forgotten men and women of our country, will be the one shaping America's magnificent future when I am the 47th president of the United States of America. Thank you. Because we are all Americans, and together we will show November 5th to be the most important day in the history of America. It will be the most important day. And when we turn it, our country's going to be great again. And if we don't turn it, our country is finished. You know it, and I know it, and everybody knows it. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much. Thank you, Michigan. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
All right, you just saw former President Donald Trump holding this rally in Grand Rapids, Michigan, exactly a week to the day when that attempted assassination occurred over at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. He was there speaking to thousands of his supporters, and you can see the bandage on his ear from where he was shot just a week ago. That investigation is still ongoing. Remember that this Monday, we do expect the highest ranking Secret Service members to testify on Capitol Hill. I want to thank you all for joining us here at Live Now from Fox on this Saturday. We're going to step away for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we continue with analysis from this rally held over in Michigan. A live look right now at the
So now, folks, my camera was the green screen is at the back and it was not setting up. So finally, I set it up. So now, folks, this is your this is my docu series, and it will be syndicated worldwide to 300 million listeners. And this is your loving host, best-selling author, Dr. Afshan Hashmi, live from our studio in Rockville, Maryland. And folks, before I dive into some of my thoughts of Trump's rally today, I want to remind you that these are my two books. The first one is The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection, and the second one is The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to succeed in India and the global marketplace. When this first book came, it is about my tribute to India. I'm originally from India and now I live in United States. This is a tribute to India, and I am known as America's India expert. And this book was hot number one new release on Amazon, as well as it was Amazon bestseller. So if you haven't grabbed a copy, please go and grab a copy and give me an honest review. And I want a documentary to be made of this book. So all documentary producers, please contact me at Afshan at drafshanhashmi.com. The second book is The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection, and Tailflix has given me a very good review of it. And you can go to Afshan at drafshanhashmi.com. And the first this book came before COVID, and in a very creative way, I have written a spy novel on bioterrorism. So, and I am a scientist by profession. Today, it was very good to see President Trump, talking about the crimes in this country, and the crime has really increased in this country. Let me drink a little bit of Coke. And first of all, I would like to say something. It says about US Nigeria, Obama should raise rights with Buhari, new leader's first visit since taking office. So it is July 2025, and I will tell you why I am reading this. United States President Barack Obama should raise, and it is here. United States President Barack Obama should raise critical human rights challenges in Nigeria with President Muhammadu Buhari, who will arrive in Washington, D.C. on July 20, 2015 for a high level visit, Human Rights Watch said in a letter to Obama that was released today. Obama should encourage Buhari to keep his commitment to ensure the government security forces respect human rights and to address the endemic corruption that has deprived many Nigerians of their basic rights. Buhari's visit to Washington is an important moment to re-evaluate the US Nigeria relationship, but any closer ties and assistance should be approached with caution, said Sarah Morgan, Washington director at Human Rights Watch. So, this was a Human Rights Watch of July 2025, and today is July 2024. So now folks, I would tell you little bit about India, because India is becoming very popular these days. The one side is Madam Kamala Harris, VP, and the other side is the Usha Vance, the current the VP candidate for President Donald J. Trump administration. So, okay. So there are a lot of Nigerians in India, and many crimes are committed by them. And then what happens is, what I have done, I'm an investigative journalist, and what I have done research is that through Nigeria they come to Mexico, and from Mexico they come to United States. So and they commit crimes. And I'm not against anyone or anyone, but recently just see what they did in India. Nigerians in India, from one of the largest African communities in the country. As of November 2013, there are about 10,000 Nigerians living and working in India. They live in cities such as New Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore, Kanpur, Hyderabad, and Lucknow. It is estimated that 2,500 Nigerians living in Delhi, 3,000 in Bangalore, and with another 4,000 spread across the rest of the country. Neither the Indian police nor the Nigerian High Commission has details of the number of. Just see this. Neither the Indian police nor the Nigerian High Commission has details of the number of Nigerians currently residing in India. Many Nigerians are also found in several unauthorized colonies like Munirika, Uttamnagar, and Mukherjee Nagar. Some Nigerians enter India illegally via Bangladesh. Many Nigerians associate themselves with crime, mainly drug trafficking and financial fraud. Around 500 Nigerians are held in various jails across India. All India Nigerian Student and Community Association, a non official arm of the Nigerian Embassy, helps members of the community living in India. It liaisons proactively with Delhi police to nab unscrupulous elements in the community. It also shields its members involved in illegal sex trafficking from repercussions. Eddie, the chairman of SIA, was filmed by BBC African Eye as one of the traffickers. So see how they are, and now how they enter. Now see this: illegal Nigerian immigrants to get US pardon, and this is President Obama. Nigerians who have lived illegally in the US for past 5 years could be among an estimated 4.7 million illegal immigrants to be granted legal residency. On Thursday, President Barack Obama issued the executive order, which will, however, not cover all 11 million documented immigrants in the country. About 4.4 million illegal immigrants who are parents of US citizens slash legal permanent residents will remain in the country temporarily and will not be deported. Over 6.2 million will not be eligible to apply for residency at all. This is considered the most sweeping immigration reform in a generation, although the Republican controlled House of Representatives are kicking against it, accusing Obama of acting beyond his constitutional powers. Citizens of Mexico, which shares border with the US, make up nearly 60% of the illegal immigrants in the country, according to a 2012 estimate by Department of Homeland Security. Thousands of Nigerians are known to overstay their visas and end up taking menial jobs that are not officially documented for tax purposes. In a White House speech, Obama rejected Republican arguments that his decision to bypass Congress and take executive action was tantamount to amnesty for illegal immigrants. Amnesty is the immigration system we have today. Millions of people who live here without paying their taxes or playing by the rules, he said. The undocumented residents can now apply legally for jobs but will not be able to vote or qualify for insurance under the president's health care law. This applies to those who have been in the US for 5 years. An additional 270,000 people would be eligible for relief under the expansion of 2012 move by Obama to stop deporting people brought illegally to the US as children by their parents. The president, speaking 2 weeks after Democrats were trounced in midterm elections, appeared confident and determined at the White House podium. Outside, pro migrant demonstrators watched his speech on their smartphones and chanted support for him, according to a Reuters report. They shouted and sang the American national anthem. See, say, Piode. Yes, we can. They shouted and sang the American national anthem. Obama urged Republicans not to take steps against his plan that could lead to a government shutdown, raising the specter of a crisis that some conservatives would like to push, but Republican leaders of Congress want to avoid. Republicans were blamed for a shutdown overspending a year ago and are seeking ways to deny funding for his immigration steps without provoking a year-end crisis. So this is the cable news, and here it is. And now I would bring, clinical trial. I am a regulatory affairs specialist, and clinical trial outsourcing is a very big game, and many Nigerians in India are involved in that. And I don't know about here, but I know about India that many Nigerians in India are also doing illegal clinical trials. So let's see, and what these pharmaceutical companies, big companies, are going to India for clinical trial outsourcing. And let's see, I have been to, for being a regulatory affairs specialist, I have gone for to CROs who wanted me to bring some business to them, but I refused it because they were not showing me their patient pool. So what is, and one clinical trial, takes, takes, like, you cannot have a diabetes clinical trial on a heart attack patient, and they are uh, they are going, like, I don't know what is going on, folks. Like, they just, wanted, like Adivasis in India, they are also into clinical trials. And I would like to investigate that, if President Trump and President Biden help me in those investigations. Like, I need funding for that. That what clinical trials are doing in India, and how Nigerians are involved in it, because many Nigerians come here as illegal immigrants, as I have shown here. And I live in Montgomery County, and I have seen many Nigerians, committing crimes here. I don't know whether someone told me they are in prison reform which President Trump did. Why they are left here in Montgomery County when the taxes are so high and everything is so high? Why they are left in Montgomery County? We pay so much of high taxes, and it is one of the largest counties, one of the like the after Hollywood, it is um, one of very very expensive counties of here, but in America. So we have slogged our whole life, and our jobs are taken by Nigerians. I have seen so many of them. The other day I am involved in regulatory affairs professional society, and they had a flyer, where there was this South Indian, coming. So there is a pattern. You go from Nigeria to India, then Nigeria plus Indian South India is equal to coming illegal routes or legal routes to America. So now President Trump has chosen somebody as VP whose wife is, I'm not targeting her or anything, and I'm not against Nigerians, or I'm not against South Indians. But now we have on the right side, we have people, like Kamala Harris on the right side. One time he just said that Kamala Harris is not in a very good mental condition. What about on the Trump side? I am a Trump supporter, and I have voted 2 times, and I have suffered a lot in this county. I have been beaten up, I have been droned, and like, I would like to ask President Trump that why did you choose Usha, like a person whose wife is from that ethnic community, and I would like to have, like, we need to have a full background check that how that lady came here and what are her associations. I'm not against Usha Vance or anybody. I'm just against the thinking, both side. We as Muslims, I have, as a Muslim, I have supported President Trump 2 times, and I wrote in my books, just see, I wrote in my book here. See the acknowledgement here. I want to thank President Trump for inspiration and the wonderful books President Trump has written. You have always inspired me since childhood. Every day while writing this book, I have followed you on print, online, and social media platforms. Your policies has given me an inspiring way to think with more creativity and innovation. Elegant, caring, and beautiful First Lady Melania Trump, I love to follow what you wear. I'm so lucky to live in a time when I got a chance to see President Trump as President of the United States of America and Melania Trump as my First Lady. I love you both a lot. Seeing you both on television makes me very happy and increases my creativity. This book is also dedicated to all the Americans and to the movement Make America Great Again, MAGA. I would especially like to thank, now see here, I wrote, and I wrote that President Trump is the best president ever. And I got beaten up, and drones were thrown at me. The day President Trump, there was a political assassination. That day, I was droned. My whole left leg was droned with glass pieces. So, what kind of America are we living in? How people are getting drones? I have this thing. Let me read about it. So before going to the drones things, let's do a little bit about clinical trials. That Gallo did clinical trials in Africa. Let me go to that site first. It says clinical, where there is a challenge, there is an opportunity. So this is the clinical trials arena, and it says clinical trials in Africa, where there is a challenge, there is an opportunity. The challenges and opportunities surrounding Africa becoming a clinical trials global force were discussed on day one of CTS Europe. Over 18% of the global population lives in Africa, but less than 3% of clinical trials are conducted there. Is there an opportunity for clinical trials to be conducted in Africa? Yes, clinical trials are conducted in Africa. Gallo, the scientist, did HIV clinical trials. So let's read a little bit about Institute of Human Virology in University of Maryland, and about Robert C. Gallo, the Homer and Martha Gurlewski Distinguished Professor in Medicine, Special Advisor to the Dean, co-founder and Emeritus Director of the Institute of Human Virology at University of Maryland School of Medicine. I have worked at University of Maryland, and I have studied also from University of Maryland. And every day I would pass from Gurlewski building, and I haven't met Robert Gallo, but it says that he is a very famous scientist. The Institute of Human Virology was co-founded and directed by Robert C. Gallo, MD, the eminent scientist who became world famous in 1984 when he co-discovered HIV as the cause of AIDS. Little was known then to the mysterious disease that was fast becoming the deadliest in medical history. Since Dr. Gallo has spent much of his career trying to put an end to his raging epidemic and other viral chronic illnesses. So I know Dr. Gallo did clinical trials in Africa and in Nigeria. I know because there are many pharmaceutical companies who go to these third world countries and do clinical trials in Nigeria. So I have a point there. So let's see my so clinical trials were done in Nigeria. So now these Nigerians are coming to India, and from India they are coming to here, to United States. So are Nigerians there in India, and they are also in South India as well as in North India. So are they diseased population over there, and they are taking crimes? They are doing crimes in India, as I said first. And here in Montgomery County, are they doing crimes, and what is government doing regarding it? So having said that, folks, now let me talk about illegal droning. I have been droned every day, and I told you that the political assassination of President Trump, the day I was droned on my left leg, whole of glass pieces, and it was so painful that I cannot tell you. So let's see what droning is. Illegal droning. and through drones, thefts are going on in Montgomery County. And sometimes my glasses will be out. Sometimes, I won't find my medicine, the medicines would be picked up. So it's like a bullying thing in Montgomery County. Is Montgomery County a century city? And my husband, who has induced Parkinson and dementia, is not getting, any help in physical therapy or anything. And I want a nurse aid, for full time. So I would request President Biden and President uh, Kamala Harris, as well as President Trump, to look into the matter. I have been writing to them. I have been telling them. And what will be your policy in future? Can you please come on this channel and give me also that break? Because this channel is syndicated worldwide to 300 million listeners, and still I'm struggling with the sponsorship. So I want this channel to grow like anything and serve Americans. So now, and I want every mutilated American to come in this channel, and I will give you a platform to tell your thoughts about it. Having said that, folks, let's say flying a drone illegally can result in civil and criminal penalties. The Federal Aviation Administration FAA considers drones to be aircraft, and they must follow many of the same rules as planes and helicopters. Some common rules for flying drones in the US include registration. All drones must be registered and should not weigh more than 55 pounds. Airspace restriction. Be aware of airspace restrictions, especially around airports, and use the fast B B for you fly service to get real time information. No drone zones. Avoid flying in places like airports, stadium, concert halls, prisons, and wildlife reserves. Visual line of sight. Fly within your visual line of sight and give way to the other aircraft. Other rules apply to Part 107 licensed pilots, such as flying above certain grid numbers and at authorization, flying over people and vehicles, and flying at 100 miles per hour or slower. Failure to comply with FAR rules can result in civil penalties of 27 1,500 and criminal penalties for up to 250,000 with 3 years in prison. You can report illegal drone activity to FAR or your local law enforcement. I have reported it to the local law enforcement, to FBI, to United States Secret Service, that why I was droned, on my left side, left leg. I am disabled. I have rods and plates in my right leg, and also, like a disabled person was droned the same day when President Trump was droned. So President Trump, please, look into the matter, and President Biden, look into the matter, that why illegal droning is done in Montgomery County. The other day, I am diabetic. My medicine, was picked up, and I don't know where it went, and then I cannot leave home from time to time because I my husband is here and I take care of him. So whenever the nurse aid is available, then only I can go. The health system in Montgomery County is so overwhelmed. No physical therapist, no occupational therapist, or no one is coming. And my husband needs to sit down, two people to lift him up and sit down on the wheelchair. I will talk to his doctor again, and I have pursuing his doctor, and it is so overwhelming that I cannot tell you. Having said that, folks, now I want physical therapy for my husband. That is the only thing. They talk about hospice, they talk about different things, but they don't bring a physical therapist here. Having said that, folks, and me and my husband have been beaten up, and I don't know what to do about the situation. And President Trump, and President Biden, please look into the matter, and President Trump, you cannot say that Madam Kamala Harris is mentally sick or anything. You should not. I respect you a lot, and you should not say those kind of words in a rally. I respect you a lot. You are also doing the same thing as she is doing. She is from South India, her mother is from South India, and you have chosen somebody who doesn't have an American wife, who has South Indian origin. And people from South India coming from Nigeria to South India and coming to America are doing lot of crimes. So what is your policy on that? And I am a Muslim woman. What is a policy for Muslims? Whom should we vote? Which side should we go, or should we go from here? Because one of the incidents I remember, Hillary Rodham Clinton was Secretary of State, and she was going to Chennai. So she was on video conference, and we were in East and West Highway meeting, and one of the guy who is a medical doctor in this Montgomery County, and I know him very well, and he's a Hindu doctor. He said to Hillary Clinton that time that please push all Muslims out of this country. And I still, since President Trump has taken somebody of South Indian descent, I'm remembering that, because first time, Hillary Rodham Clinton was going to Chennai, and it said she's creating a history where she is going, and she is she is going there, and first time Secretary Clinton is not going to New Delhi, but she will land in Chennai. Now what is the Chennai thing? You see so many South Indians here. You hardly see. I go to exercise, I hardly see Americans. I see all South Indians all over the place. I'm not against anybody, I'm from India, but what is the agenda for Muslims? Both sides of the aisle, whether President Biden wins or whether President Trump wins, what is the agenda for Muslims? I would like to hear from them, and I want sponsorship for this show from both Trump campaign as well as Biden campaign. And please look into the matter. And here are my two books, and this show is syndicated worldwide to 300 million listeners. So this is a book here, The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace. And this is the outbreak of a monstrous infection. So, folks, I hope this illegal droning is stopped, and President Trump and President Biden have some answers that what policy do they have for Muslims, or should we Muslims, just leave the country, as that doctor said in that meeting with Hillary Rodham Clinton. So I would like to hear some thoughts, and anybody who wants to throw their thoughts here are more than welcome here. And what is the policy for Muslims who are residing in United States? Having said that, folks, cheers and bye bye.